Boogie like Benson, I'm a Who Dat. I'm a Who Dat. Long as I'm living, I'm a Who Dat. Lose or winning, I'm a Who Dat. Sports Coma, yeah, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like Benson, I'm a Who Dat. I'm a Who Dat. Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Somebody please better help. Running this thing like Elf. I thank God every day I'm not a felt. Go to YouTube Live with Big Q and the guys. If you ain't ride or die, the bandwagon get flipped. Been marching in, that was way for the ring. I was yelling out your shame for the championship. Bucking on Tampa, duck down. Falcons, pluck, get shut down. Panthers ain't much touchdown. The vision really belong to us now. So much hate on the Saints, you could probably tell. Ever since Bounty Gate hit the NFL, when things seem fishy and you probably smell the crooked referees or Roger Goodell. Money like this and I'm a Who Dat. Every day I'm living, I'm a Who Dat. Lose or winning, I'm a Who Dat. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like this and I'm a Who Dat. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that. You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
What he's doing?
Yeah. He's no concerns there. Obviously, he was just getting ready for practice, and so a couple different options there for him early in practice, and so he popped in there probably late, right as you guys were at the tail end. I would assume he wasn't there right away, but he's good to go. So.
Alvin, did it hurt in today's practice, or was that something in the game?
Yeah, just a little something, just a little ankle. So nothing concerning. It's fine.
Sorry, just today or practice?
Yeah, just today. Nothing concerning.
Are you optimistic that Chase might be able to make his return this week?
Yeah, I think there's obviously optimism. There's steps through this whole process. You got to see how this thing responds each and every day through each step that he takes. But he's obviously been doing so much work through this whole process, and so today was a really good step in the right direction.
What's that return to play process like for a calf injury like that, and also for somebody like Chase? Like when he were to come back, would that be like on pitch down kind of thing? To get him kind of acclimated, and what would that look like?
We'll just have to see how the whole week progresses as far as it relates to Sunday. Again, this has been a full process. He's done a ton of work on the back end, behind the scenes for a number of weeks now. And so, it was good to have him out there in a limited role. I thought he did a really good job. And so we'll see how everything responds coming out of this practice and then put him in position to see how tomorrow goes.
It's kind of like the broad overview of Patriots defense and some stuff they did.
Yeah, they're just doing a really good job. I think they're just really detailed. I think they're really sound. They don't give up anything easy in the run game. They make you earn it. They play with tremendous effort, physicality. Their ability to play coverage on the back end. I thought they've done some really good things, and you can see the progress they've made over the course of the season. The last couple of weeks, they've played excellent football.
All right, shout out to the fam. Thank y'all for being in the stream. Welcome. Now rocking with the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys, where we have intense, entertaining, educating, and enlightening sport talk from your favorite sports fam. Shout out to you guys. Appreciate y'all for being in the live on this one, man. And we play a little Kellen Moore. Talk about Chase Young, and also you heard what Kellen said about Alvin Kamara having a ankle issue, and you heard what he said. That's nothing to worry about. Ain't nothing to worry about. All right, now listen. Now we done heard that before, Mr. Mo. We done heard that before. You said something similar with Chase Young 6 weeks ago. So we hope that is nothing similar to what we heard him say when he said what he said about Chase Young. But big ups to you guys. Appreciate y'all for being in the live on this one, man. Much love to the fam, man. Black Major is in this thing. Good to see you. OG Jerry. Much love. Appreciate y'all, man, for being in the stream. Much love. Good to see you, brother Gregory. Shout out to you, man. Appreciate you, St. Doug. Duke. Big ups to brother Duke and the rest of the fam. Much love to you guys as we get this going on Saints Hump Day Heat. That's our new term for Wednesday Saints Talk here on the Coma. Man, listen, man, let's talk about quite a few things to kind of delve in, man. So let's get right into it. The New Orleans Saints Wednesday injury report. 9 Saints players listed on the Hump Day injury report, the first of the week. And Isaac Yiadom is DNP with the hamstring, which would explain in part why we have Mike Davis here. And we'll talk about Mike Davis. I'll give you guys a scouting report on Mike Davis, the new cornerback the Saints picked up yesterday. He has ties to, of course, Coach Staley as well as Coach Moore. When Coach Moore was out there in Charger land, the one year he was the OC he kind of known him from there. So it's those relationships, right? But let's get into it. Isaac Yiadom hamstring DNP. Jawan Johnson still dealing with that ankle issue. He was limited. Alvin Kamara developed an ankle injury, according to Coach Moore, in practice. And it is nothing to worry about. According to what Coach Moore says, nothing to worry about. Trevor Penning also has an ankle. You know, that's 3 ankles in a row. It's a 4th ankle. Cesar Ruiz got one. So, you know, you'd probably be a halfway to millionaire if you had a bag of ankles you could take down there, I'm pretty sure. Justin Reed is under the concussion protocol. You know, he got knocked in the head in the game and got taken out. And we'll see if he clears concussion protocol for the matchup against the Patriots. We'll be watching that. Chase Young. That's right, Chase Young. You know, if I know KT, I know you're listening. Guess what, KT? Chase Young practiced today. He is limited with a calf issue. This is the first time in 6 weeks since we've seen Chase Young out on the football field. What's up, Bronze? Shout out to Bronze. It's a good thing because we really do need Chase Young's on his pass rush acumen on the opposite side of Carl Granderson. Right, we seen what Cam could do, and man, we need somebody like a lot more athleticism than what we're seeing there. And of course, John Ridgeway III fully practiced with a shoulder issue. He's still listed, as you can see this little mark right here telling you that he's returned to practice, but he's still on the reserve injured list. Now it's up to the Saints come time to activate John Ridgeway, and listen, they need John Ridgeway. They need somebody to help stop the run. We gave up draft picks to bring John Ridgeway here. And we need his whatever defensive help he can do, internally speaking, to stop the run of that running back from New England. They got a couple of decent running backs. That top running back is pretty good. So we have to be able to slow those guys down. And, of course, if you look at the Patriots side of it, they got some guys on there. Jalen Hawkins, the safeties, DNP, defensive end Keon White is also out. A defensive tackle, Christian Barmore, has an NIR, which is not injury related, just rest. Clavon Chasen is limited with a knee issue. Joshua Farmer with an ankle, he was limited. Anthony Jennings limited. Milton Williams, the defensive tackle, linebacker Marty Mapu with a neck issue, fully practiced, and Mike Onwenu was fully practiced with us. So you got a few guys from New England not as banged up as some of the previous teams, but yeah, the Saints got a couple of people on this list. And in my estimation, man, going 6 weeks in terms of injuries for the Saints, we are doing fantastic. To be honest with you, we're doing pretty damn good. Let's just keep this going for the rest of the season, man, and just clean up some football here. All right, anyway, let's kind of pivot to that story anyway. Here is to say Saints running back Kamara suffers an ankle injury at practice. Just when the Saints thought they might be turning the corner, the injury bug decided to pay a visit. This time it nipped at the ankles of their star running back Alvin Kamara. During practice on Wednesday, Kamara went down with what Coach Kellen Moore described a little something. What was that song, A Little Something? Wasn't that Maxwell? So when did this coach? When the hell Coach Moore started listening to hey, y'all remember that song by Maxwell, A Little Something Something? What do you know about that? Well, let's be real. A little something in coach speak can mean anything from a stub toe to a season-ending catastrophe. The entire city of New Orleans collectively held its breath for a team sitting at a pitiful 1-4. Losing a player of Kamara's caliber would be like taking a sledgehammer to an already cracked foundation. Damn, bro. Further reports quickly downplayed the severity, with sources confirming that the ankle injury is nothing serious and that Kamara is considered day-to-day. You can almost hear the collective sigh of relief echoing down Bourbon Street. Not just Bourbon Street, all over the damn city. The lower 9, the 3rd Ward, the 7th Ward, uptown, downtown, midtown, and throughout the entire region and the entire universe of the mighty Who Dat Nation. Kamara's impact on struggling Saints offense is no secret that Saints have been, to put it mildly, a hot mess this season. before they Reese. I like this writer. Who this guy is, man? He all right with me. Total Apex. Okay, shout out to them. All right, he called it the hot mess. Before they recently win against the turnover happy Giants, they were looking at a goose egg in the win column. Kamara, even at 30 years old, which is practically ancient running back years, remain in the engine of the offense. He's the safety valve for a young quarterback, a dual threat nightmare for defensive coordinators, and one of the few consistent playmakers on the roster. So far this season, he's racked up 283 yards and a touchdown on the ground, adding another 77 yards through the air. While those aren't exactly the eye-popping numbers we're used to seeing from him, his presence alone changes how defense approaches the Saints. So what happens if Kamara misses some time? If this little something turns into a bigger something and Kamara has to sit out against the Patriots, the Saints will turn to Kendre Miller. The third-year running back will be he'll be thrust into the spotlight. A tough spot for anyone trying to fill Kamara's multi-talented shoes. For now, it looks like the disaster has been averted, and the Saints recently need to stack, and we put this in, stack some wins, and having a healthy Kamara is non-negotiable if they want to climb out of the NFC South basement. Especially fantasy owners will be refreshing their timelines all week, hoping that the day-to-day really just means he needed a little day off. After that, the man's been carrying the team on his back. Maybe his ankles just needed a quick break. Indeed, man. So, yeah, Saints haven't really been doing, that it's just they haven't found it, man. People are just like, Q, what's wrong? What's wrong with the Saints offense, and it's a lot to talk about, man. When you watch the film, I watched the film. We did the Patreon last night. Man, I was kind of hot because, we look at the tape and the wind has worn off. The wind has worn off. Now we need to focus ahead and see if we can stack wins. That's what it's about. We're in a hole. We need 3 more wins to get to 500, to make this thing respectable. So the way I see it is based on the tape that I was watching, the Saints have to do better and with the defense is giving them. Like I've seen, y'all seen it on the tape. We broke it down, and it's just IQ. It's just play selection and IQ. When you have a defense that shows you a single high look and you trying to run in a stacked box, of course you're not doing anything. What are we doing? It's just what it comes down to is IQ and recognizing what the defense is giving you and adjusting. And that's what I see. And then it would help if the Saints offensive players in particular, I ain't going to throw no names out there, but the guys on tape that are missing blocks would learn these damn plays better. It would help for us to run the ball, for guys to learn the plays and get out ahead to know who they need to block. Because it shouldn't be this difficult, but that's the problem. And what I see on tapes is guys don't know exactly what they're doing. I see on tape when you run in the offense, you see the defense go into a single high set. What the hell are you running the ball for? Attack them downfield. Even with the throw to Rashid Shaheed, they had 2 safeties there. They still was able to fire the ball to the right sideline, and Rashid's blazing speed was able to run behind the corner and the safety to the touchdown. Well, that play was there, if you watch the tape, at least 4 times. So it's like, okay, enough of the east to west stuff. You have to get vertical, and even if you're gonna have to take shots to scare these goddamn people. If they know the Saints, like even with the Giants, they weren't afraid of the Saints throwing the ball. They was stacking the box. They had guys all. A bunch of times where I seen stack box, 7, 8 guys in the box, and we trying to run into the box with that old rusty draw play that they used to. that rusty ass option draw, whatever you call it. Man, come on, man. We have to have a higher IQ when we're attacking these people. The defense will give you several opportunities to throw the ball on their ass. They really will. They're going to bring that safety up to blitz, to throw at them. They're going to do all of that. And what I seen on film, like, what are we doing here? Get that damn ball up the field. You got all these guys, Chris Olave at 4'3", whatever he is. You can't guard Rashid Shaheed. You can't guard him. So you move him around, find a mismatch, and put his ass out there on the vertical and throw that goddamn ball out there. This ain't hard to figure out, man. Like on tape, I was so upset what I seen on tape with how they was running, especially toward the back end of the game. When I seen all that bullshit they was running, I was like, man, come on, bro. This don't make any kind of sense. The defense is giving you opportunities. They're showing you, hey, man, you get, and it's just we're not taking them. I don't know what we doing, but it ain't doing the right thing. You got to attack these people, man. You got to attack all this east-west stuff, throwing it here and there and dinky-donkey doing all this bullshit. And they got safety playing single damn high and one-on-one mismatches up the field, and we not taking advantage of it. That got to change, man. I know these people, these professional people, I know they got to be seeing that. I know they got to be seeing that. I was upset. I was like, man, what are we doing? Why are we running into these 8-man fronts like this? You ain't got a damn fullback. How you doing that silly draw into an 8-man box? Into an 8-man box, and you ain't even got a fullback. Like, they know that you're gonna have to attack these people. Attack them. And these defenses with secondaries that's ranked in the 30s, in the late 20s. That's enough. I ain't gonna lie, man. I got upset on that. Y'all heard me last night on Patreon. I was cussing and every damn thing. I was mad seeing that. I was like, man, what are we doing? It wasn't the Giants. It wasn't the Giants. It was us. When they was showing very favorable looks, we was doing something else. I don't know why they was doing it and why they thought that was good to do. But if you see them people with a single high safety and you got all that speed on the field, why are you running into the box on that silly draw they run? Like nobody don't know. Here we come with that little silly draw. With the draw, here you want it or you hold it, and then he run there and the guy get him. Come on, bro. That's not gonna cut it, man. And I'm like, looking, I said, how much money they paying these people? Because the film it's not, it don't take a rocket scientist to read no damn film. You can look at it and see the defense was giving Saints opportunities to take shots at them. They really was. And there were at least four that I counted myself where you could attack them people deep, and we doing that draw. Trying to get Taysom Hill to run into 8 people. I mean, dude, come on, man. Come on, man. We got to do better than this. Yeah, I'm just saying, man, that's my little account on that, man. I was like, man, what are we doing, man? Let's get this stuff moving. Let's attack. Anyway, let's keep it moving, man. Speaking of moving, let me move on. Let me keep moving. Here go one right here. And I'm not putting it on Spence. That's not exactly what I'm putting it on. But I'm saying you got to be able to understand what's going on. Like I said, the defense is going to give you opportunities. And you heard the saying all the time that we take what the defense gives us. Meaning the defense will play back and give you the front. And every now and again, the defense will send a safety up there to see if they can flush the quarterback out or overload the line so they can go and get one on you. They'll do that from time to time. When they show single high safety, one-on-one matchups outside, I like my odds. There ain't no cornerback in the league could guard Rashid Shaheed, man. And there's nobody in the league that can stay one-on-one with Rashid Shaheed. You put that ball up top, he running up under it. You blow the damn defense wide open. That's what we need to do. That'll change the dynamic. Anyway, let's look at this one. Saints adding veteran cornerback help after an injury to the team's secondary. The Saints reshuffled parts of the roster and practice squad after the first win of the season. The Saints signed veteran cornerback Michael Davis, released running back Velus Jones Jr. from the 53-man roster the team announced yesterday. New Orleans also made several changes to the practice squad, signing wide receiver Ronnie Bell and tight end Moliki Mutavo, while cutting defensive end Garrett Nelson, offensive tackle Satoa Lomia, and wide receiver Tommy Millott. Davis' signing comes after Isaac Yiadom suffered a hamstring injury in practice last week and missed Sunday's win over the Giants. Davis, who's 30 years old, spent last season with the Commanders, but he spent the first 7 years with the Chargers, where he was coached by Saints defensive coordinator Brandon Staley, for 3 seasons. It remains to be seen whether Davis will see extended playing time. Quincy Riley played in place of Yidam against the Giants and 4th-round rookie. While already trending, having his snaps increased, the Saints have relied on a number of young players this season, the team's first under Coach Moore. Davis, who's 30, started 76 of 122 games. He's a 6'2" corner who started only 2 of his 15 contests last year. Also about Mike Davis, a little scouting report on him is that he been in the league for 9 years. Of course, we talked about earlier the ties that put him with Staley in Charger country. Veteran cornerback, 6'2", athletic, man coverage abilities, mostly man, very physical corner. He about 196, 200 pounds, was originally undrafted out of BYU back in back sometime. I think he was drafted undrafted. 122 games, 76 played. He has 8 interceptions, 70 pass defense, and his play style excels in off-man coverage due to good footwork and ability to read receivers, possesses solid foot speed, acceleration, change of direction. Remember, he's 30 years age, so he's the epitome of a veteran cornerback. He was effective in some zone, has decent lateral agility, very smart player to match up receivers, and it's Taysom Hill and him with teammates back in BYU. That's what they say. Now, his injury history is he had a strain back in 2019 and in 2021 with his hamstring, knee sprain back in 2022. So he's not one of these guys that have a boatload of injuries. He does have a lot of playing abilities. His 40-yard time, because people want to know how fast a 6'2", 200-something-odd pound cornerback is. At the time, it was 4.34 in the 40. So Mike Davis has some speed. Now, he's 9 years in the NFL now, and he's 30 years old. I don't know if he's still 4.34. Anyway, close to that, but that's good to know. So that's pretty much some of the stuff to kind of talk about with Mike Davis, and the fact that the question was asked, will Mike Davis have an opportunity to match up against or play rather, where they signed him directly onto the team's active roster. So you would definitely anticipate them having him here. And the reason why he'll play is because he has familiarity with Coach Staley's schemes. That's why you see guys like Jonah Williams and Chris Rump II here, because they have innate knowledge or experience in playing in Coach Staley's system. So it makes a good fit. And then, of course, one of the other reports made mention that the Saints did outbid for his services. They beat out the Detroit Lions, who was trying to get him. And I think the Lions was trying to practice squad him. And ultimately, the Saints offered them a active roster spot. And that's how it ended up. So, yes, Mike Davis is a Saint now. And I think that he will be a guy that will more than likely definitely see some time in the quarterback room, especially with Isaac Yiadom injury. And Isaac wasn't really playing that well. Isaac was he was struggling. He was struggling to the point where a lot of people wanted to yank him for Quincy Riley. And now that he's banged up, Mike Davis makes sense. So we welcome Mike Davis. Shout out to Mike Davis. And welcome. Yes, he is. Yeah, there you go. He was a teammate of Taysom. So there you go. So a veteran, 9-year veteran, 6'2", with 4.3 speed. I don't know how much that 4.3 speed he still have, but I hope he got enough, man. We're going to need it in the secondary. So shout out to Mike Williams and welcome aboard to the mighty Who Dat Nation, man. We in here. All right, let's keep it moving, man. How about Kool-Aid McKinstry? We gave Kool-Aid a little business because how he was playing the first several weeks of the season, and Kool-Aid took it all and put it together in one hell of a performance. Let's see if he can build on it for the rest of the season. Kool-Aid McKinstry, man, for the first time in a long time, the Saints have a future worth looking forward to, despite being tied with the Giants, who they defeated in Week 5, the NFC's worst record, 1-4. The tide is slowly shifting to the Saints, which have several young players with flash potential this season. Among the promising players, Kool-Aid McKinstry stood out the most in last Sunday's win, leading the second-year Saints defensive back to pick up an unexpected but well-deserved accolade, which the NFL announced as Player of the Week, and McKinstry was named the NFC Defensive Player of the Week. That's big. So shout out to Kool-Aid on there. Give that man a round of applause. Yes. He marked the first time Saint defender earned a Player of the Week honor since 2023 when Paulson Adebo, now with the Giants, was recognized. So this is big. Kool-Aid McKinstry is your NFC Defensive Player of the Week. And this is something that Kool-Aid can and should and will build on going into the rest of the season. So big ups to him on that, right? So he had a couple of things, a couple of interceptions. He did a number of things in the game to help out. So anyway, McKinstry, a 2024 second round pick, had arguably his best game as a pro over the Giants, allowing five receptions on 9 targets for 45 yards and a touchdown with 2 interceptions and a pass breakup. One of several young players to play a key role in the win, a small but significant step in the right direction for an organization that opened the season without any future foundational pieces. That's not true. Saints, which has the NFL youngest head coach, started 6 players under the age of 24 against the Giants. It's the most in a win since 2018, which was the year after the Saints landed AP Offensive and Defensive Rookies of the Year running back AK-41 and Marshawn Laddie Daddy Lattimore. This includes defensive tackle Brian Bresee, who turns 24 on Monday. The season he ranks 5th among qualified defensive linemen in average time to average 2.42s, trailing San Francisco 49ers edge rusher Nick Bosa, and directly ahead of Houston Texans edge Will Anderson. That's big. NFL on CBS producer Ben Fennell showed a video of his work, as you can see right here, and rookie safety Jonas Sanker, who's 22, continues to look like a future cornerstone in the secondary. According to PFF, Sanker allowed 9 yards on 3 receptions, 5 targets last Sunday, 1 week after recording his first career interception against the Buffalo Bills' Josh Allen. So that's big for him. The youth movement wasn't limited in defense in week 5. 3 offensive linemen under 24, including 24 and 25 first-round picks, Kelvin Banks Jr. and Tali Fuaga, and rookie undrafted guard Torrey Sally Simpkins III, holding up their end by preventing a formidable Giants front from sacking quarterback Spencer Rattler. No sacks. A lot of some pressures, but no sacks. Arguably, no team had a bleaker future outlook than the Saints at the start of the season. I don't know about all that, man. Come on, you're kind of spreading it a little thick now. The organization still has plenty of work to do with the next couple of off seasons to once again be perennial playoff contender, but some building blocks are beginning to take shape. Considering where the Saints were, that's a massive win. Yeah, he kind of painted a little doomsday in there, man, but a little doom and gloom, but I don't agree about that, man. A lot of Saints are a lot better than people, maybe even the Saints know. If we can play football more intelligently, you can get some wins. And I think that's the thing, man. Repetition is key, but also recognition. Repetition is one thing. If you think about it, hell, you could be saying repetition and all this kind of stuff and be repeating the mistake over and over again. You could be repeating garbage over and over again and not knowing. So recognition, recognizing what you're doing with the repetition. You don't want to be completing and repeating over and over mistakes. We want to improve and trend upward. That's the way. Yeah, and of course, Ronnie Bell was also a guy the Saints picked up, not to make mention of Ronnie Bell. Mike Davis was a bigger signing insofar as he was signed to the active roster. The Saints did ultimately bring in another young player, a wide receiver, to the fold, Ronnie Bell, who's a 6 feet tall Michigan. He was about 6 feet tall, and he was a Michigan wide receiver. I was watching film of him. It's very interesting. The Saints they went with another wide receiver. I was like, okay, how tall he's the first thing I looked at, but they added him to the practice squad. So Ronnie Bell is there on the practice squad, 6 feet, 190 pounds, 3 years in the league out of the University of Michigan. He's also the latest Saint to join us right here. As you can see, this is his bio right here. The Saints added him here. 3 years from University of Michigan, and you can see some of his career stats. He also played with the San Francisco 49ers. A total of 8 catches for 90 yards and 3 touchdowns. Well, which is, in 2 seasons. If you don't have very many catches, but he has almost half touchdowns for those catches. So I would say that's pretty promising. It's not too bad with limited stats for Ronnie Bell. So he's on the practice squad with the black and gold, man. And also welcome aboard for that, brother, man. We'll see how he do. I do not know his 40 time. I'll look that 40 time up and see. But if he's 6 feet tall, his 40 time probably, I'm going to look it up right now, matter of fact. Give me a second, fam. Ronnie Bell, wide receiver. Let me see Ronnie Bell's 40 time. Let's see what he got. All right, what is Ronnie Bell's for? Ronnie Bell, the wide receiver. Hold on, Ronnie. What you doing on this team, bro? They said you run a 4.54, boy. What you talking about? Ronnie Bell, the wide receiver drafted by the Niners in 2023, ran an official 4.54 40-yard dash at the 2023 NFL Combine. Oh, Ronnie, that's usually, I don't know if they knew about your 40 time, brother. 4.54. Oh man, I don't know. Ronnie must have magnets in his hands or something for him. I don't know, man. That's kind of smallish. He kind of small to be a guy talking about being on his team, and he running a 4.54. Come on there, Ronnie. All right, anyway, let's bounce to this one right here, man. This is one right here. Speaking of a receiver with some size and 4.3 speed, 5 weeks into the season, shout out to The Advocate, who covered this article about, the Saints are still trying to figure out how Devon Velley fits with their offense. Shout out to Luke Johnson. 5 weeks into the season, the Saints are still trying to figure out how wide receiver Devon Velley fits within the offense. Sunday against the Giants, Velley played a season-high 38% of his snaps offensively. His increased usage still resulted in modest production, with Velley catching both of his targets for 13 yards. Though the Saints have nearly identical pass-run splits with 32 passes to 30 runs against the Giants, most of the 6'5" Velley's work came on rundowns. He ran 11 routes against New York. When the Giants targeted Velley, or when the Saints targeted Velley, he has mostly delivered positive outcomes. He's caught 4 of 5 targets for this season. 3 have moved the chains, including a third down conversion against the Giants, and 1 went for a score. New Orleans paid a relatively steep price to get Velley, sending a future 4th-round pick to the Broncos to acquire him in late August. In addition to bringing late to arrive and therefore to assimilate the offense, Velley has also navigated a hip injury that has kept him out of the Saints' playoff loss to Seattle and left him questionable for Week 4 against the Bills. Obviously, he's missed a bit of time a couple of weeks ago, and Coach Moore said he's getting better. He was able to play this week, and he did a really good job. He had a couple of impact plays in the run game and in the pass game. Roles evolve, changes, and increase as we go. So that's the talking point, is how do we get Devon Velley, the 6 foot, this is the biggest wide receiver the Saints got, 6'5" guy, involved in the offense? That's a question, because a lot of guys are having issues trying to figure out what they need to do to get more involved in the offense. And we're 6 weeks in. So, you would think that some kind of way we have something going on, a stable or something that we can rely on. And we really haven't seen that. You got a shot here and everything is pretty sporadic. I don't really say or see too much stability, offensively speaking, that we are leaning to one way or the other. We're kind of floating here. And as opposed to, looking for, it just feels, it's unstable, very unstable. It's like a house on sand. It just stuff moving all around. Nothing's firm, nothing's stable. It's we keep saying every week we got to fix it. I just think in terms of that, it's just we have to lock in mentally here, man, because these defenses, we're not playing the best defenses in the world. We're not really supposed to be having these type of issues because, like I said, if we're smarter than the team, then the other team will find out ways to how to attack them. And I just see we're not doing that. Kind of lost there. Anyway, speaking about lost, did y'all hear this story right here, man, about Cam Jordan? 2 Georgia men arrested in burglary of Saints player Cam Jordan's house in Old Metairie home. In his Old Metairie home. Isn't that something? Georgia, man, how the hell they knew where Cam lived at and they from Georgia? You think these mad, angry Saints people? It's terrible. But the good news is they caught their asses. 2 Georgia men have been arrested and 2 more were wanted for allegedly burglarizing the Old Metairie home of New Orleans Saints player Cam Jordan. And, you know, the 2 men got caught. You know how the other 2 got caught. You know, you ever seen 48? And you know you can help yourself out. Who was the other 2 guy? Well, it was Kendrick. I can give you a number too. You know how it go. Boy, is no honor among funky ass thieves, is it? Anyway, the burglary occurred September the 14th as the defensive end was playing. The man was playing in the game and these dogs ran up in his house. How low is that? They had Cam staked out, man. They had him staked out. The burglary occurred September the 14th as the defensive end was playing a noon game against the Niners at the Superdome. That's what the sheriff said. Within 12 hours, we had the vehicle identified. I guarantee you did. I bet you did with all them cameras around up and down there. We had the vehicle identified. In 16 hours, it was over, and we had detectives driving to Georgia. This is what Sheriff Lopinto said. And he says authorities in Georgia have arrested Donald Robinson, 28 of Stockbridge, and Jaden Brown, 19 of Conyers. Warrants have been issued for Jahan Suber and Devell Ortiz, both of Conyers. Once extradited to JP, the men could face several charges, including simple burglary and possession of stolen property. They could also be facing additional federal charges as the FBI is involved in the investigation. The investigation revealed that the suspects rented a vehicle in Atlanta, then made the drive to New Orleans area, breaking into Cam's house during the game, according to the sheriff. He did not disclose what was taken from the home, but you can guess. The burglary was discovered later that evening when Cam's wife returned home. The sheriff's burglary division canvassed the neighborhood and used videos to identify the suspect vehicles. Yeah, they went and found all them cameras and put it together. The department typically uses a mix of videos from home surveillance systems, mounted cameras, and license plate recognition cameras. The department tracked the suspect vehicle to Georgia, where Conyers police conducted the stop, taking one of the suspects into custody, and a second suspect was arrested the following day. Investigators did recover the property stolen in the burglary. Jordan referenced his burglary in the X post on Tuesday, saying, "Yeah, that Sunday sucked. The most important thing is my family," and he says, "my family was and is safe." So indeed, Cam. Lopinto could not say whether Jordan's burglary was directly related to similar break-in targeting professional athlete. I guarantee you it did. There is no, they won't say it because they probably got an investigation going on about, with these other things going on. But how a man drive all the way from somewhere else, know where the man live, get in the neighborhood. I guarantee it ain't no drive-through neighborhood where Cam and them stayed. You don't just drive through Cam's place or their neighborhoods. You got to go through a gate. You got cameras here or there. So they rented a car with their name on it. And the cameras seen them driving and then followed them to play all this kind of stuff. And they got them boys. And federal authorities in Ohio indicted 4 Chilean nationals with the December 19 burglary of a Cincinnati Bengals quarterback Joey Burrow's home up there in Ohio. Investigations remain ongoing as these individuals seem to be the alleged tip of the iceberg of South American theft groups committing crimes throughout our district and elsewhere, said attorneys. This is high, man. They had the feds and the marshals involved in this. Lopinto said the burglary of Jordan's home may have been a copycat act, but did not say whether those arrested are suspected in any other burglaries. I bet you they are. And also did not speculate on whether that was suspects had anything to do with the proximity to the Saints division rival, the Atlanta Falcons. Low, come on, bro. Low, Low, help us out, brother. Boy, them Falcon people sure be mad at the Saints. You can't beat the Saints. You know that old saying, y'all heard it before. If you can't beat the Saints, burglarize the players' homes. I know y'all heard that before. I know I heard that. I just heard it in this damn article. I'm sure he'll get his revenge on the player field when he gets back and plays Atlanta. So, you know, that old saying that Atlanta, you know, the old saying that you heard before, that if you can't beat them, burglarize their homes. It's crazy. All right. But shout out to Cam, man. I'm glad to see that he's all right, man. His family's all right, man. And I'm pretty sure he got insurance on that as well. All right. Shout out to Lil, man. Hey, it's all good, bro. But anyway, man, listen, man, that's what I got for y'all today, man. Y'all feel free. If y'all got any questions, feel free to throw them in the chat, man. We up in this thing. Saints Hump Day Heat Wednesday. Listen, a lot of stuff we got. This is Wednesday first report. I'm really happy to know that Chase Young, and I know KT's out there. What up, KT? That Chase Young is back in the building. We need that pass rush help. John Ridgeway is healthy. We need his run stuffing help. Yeah, Saints Full Circle podcast say it was an inside. I bet. Yeah, indeed, bro. How you get in that, man? Most of these guys don't live somewhere where you can just drive into their place. You know, drive down a street and all this. They don't, you know, they don't live that you don't have access like that. They're behind a gate somewhere with cameras. So, yeah, and if it's a ring, and plus that been going on throughout the country, so some kind of way they're gaining access. Hell, you never know how they doing it. It might be it could be a number of things. I care not to say right now because I know how they figuring this thing out. All right, anyway, big ups to y'all, man. All right, there go KT. What's up, KT? KTC, he's still a draft bus NFL. The NFL Alonzo equals Chase Young. Yeah. Well, KT right now, the man is there. He entering 6 weeks in. He ain't got a sack. He signed a $51 million deal. And whatever help you right on this, brother. Whatever help you need to, whatever help he can give, we need it. I mean, there is nobody on that other side providing pressure. We need Carl Granderson is doing any and everything he can on that opposite side. We need somebody on the opposite side to produce pressure as well. And we also need another interior force. I'll take whatever help that John Ridgeway can give. John Ridgeway, it needs to help out too, because the Saints stink in stopping the run up the middle. We got to do a better job of what we're doing. Like I said, the back end, maybe something happened schematically from a mindset defensively speaking, where the Saints kind of went like, you know, yeah, they kind of picked up the ball and be like, yeah, okay, we understand how stuff going and all this kind of stuff. Let's see what we got going on here. Let's see, you know, we figured out some stuff, you see, with the win. And confidence comes with the win. But more importantly, man, like I said, I'm going to say it again, intelligence on these play calls, offensively speaking, intelligence on these play calls. Wow. You know, I was really frustrated in my film study this week. I really was. Not just saying the defense, I'm saying from the offense. Outside of the 87-yard touchdown strike from Rattler to Rashid, I mean, there was a few passes here or there, but really far and few in between. You know, it's a lot of stuff here, man. And maybe, you know, with 6 weeks in, I was like, man, we got to have something we can lean on. We have to be able to do something, man. I don't know what we do well. That's the whole thing. We don't pass well or run well. Which more, in your opinion, y'all answer this for me. In y'all estimation, what do the Saints offense do well? Matter of fact, let me put that in the chat. Let me make that a poll, because I really want to know this here. And when we get ready to close out the stream, you guys, I'm going to put this in the poll. This will be a poll question to the family about what this, through going in, we just completed 5 weeks of football, right? The Saints are 1-4 horribly, right? But what do we do well offensively? And people going to say nothing, Q. You can't say nothing. I'm going to force you to make a pick. I need you to be serious, and I need y'all to make a pick. I need to know. What do we do well? Do we run? I ain't going to say one. I guess some people are like, you ain't do nothing right well, but we got to pick one. If you pick, you got to pick one. Hold on. Let me put the poll in there for y'all so we can, let me see. Because we got to do this, man. We got to be able to do. We got to do this. Because I know it's a part of the game. We have to figure this out. Because my goodness, I don't know what to say about my squad, man. We got to figure this out. All right, hold on, fam. Let me go ahead and put this up in here. Shout out to y'all, man, for being in the building. Y'all be patient with me. Let me put that poll up and see what do. Hold on here. Oh man, I'm confused, man. I'm like, man, we need to, force y'all ass to make a call. I ain't gonna put nothing up in there. That's too easy. Force you to make a call. Say nothing. That ain't the answer. Let's see. Offense wise. All right, we'll do the Saints. We'll do the same. Hold on, let me fix this all jumbled up. What does the Saints offense do? Let's do well. And run the pass. All right, there we go. Y'all hurry up and hit that poll. We got 144 people chiming in here. Shout out to the family members listening across platforms, Instagram, X, and others. Shout out to you. I salute you guys. Appreciate you for being on the live. If you want to vote on the poll, please feel free to come on over to YouTube and vote in the poll. I got it up. Please feel free to hit the poll up and let me know what y'all think of what we do well. We don't do nothing well, Q. That ain't an answer, man. That ain't a goddamn answer. I want to know. All right, okay. KT says the Q I would have signed over Treylon Burks over Ronnie Bell. Bell doesn't offer anything at all. Well, I think I remember Ronnie Bell, bro, from Michigan. I think I remember Ronnie Bell from Michigan. He was a decent wide receiver. He made tough catches, but he wasn't a blazer or none of that kind of stuff. It's nothing stood out about Ronnie Bell. So I don't know why the Saints would want to pick up Ronnie Bell. He's 6 feet tall and his 40 time is a 4.54. So I don't. That's a curious selection. Charles, what's up, Charles? How you doing, bro? He says we're not getting pressure from our edge rushers because they back in they're back in coverage. Okay, that you hate the 34. Okay, I get you. I thank you, man. Appreciate you. He says they back because they're in coverage. You're not getting pressure. The Saints, they're operating this defense where, order for it to work, and I've said this a number of times, the order for whatever, for them to be dropping everybody else in coverage because they got this little zone thing going on. It's one of these situations where they have to, they're not generating pressure. They're not generating any pressure. Not consistently anyway. Now, they did get off toward the back end of the last game, but overall, through the weeks, Carl Granderson is the consistent person, right? You get every now and then you get another guy pops in there and do something, but there's not consistent pass rushing going on here. That's the problem. So I don't know what to say, man, about that particular issue. Is that I don't know. I get frustrated watching it because if you're not pressing these quarterbacks to make moves and do what they're supposed to do, then ultimately they're just going to sit back there and they're going to. This is the NFL, fam. You cannot allow any quarterback, and you've seen that, right? We've seen backup quarterbacks get off on the Saints defense. We've seen a really good quarterback like Josh Allen get off on them. So I don't know what to say about that particular thing. I'm just gonna keep it honest with you on that. It frustrates me to watch it because you rushing forward and if the forward not getting home, that guy just gonna sit there and go through his progressions and find somebody in the hole of that coverage. And that's what we see. You'll see him fire to the tight end, holding the zone coverage to the left, holding the coverage in the right, or he'll get one upfield at the next level between the safety and where the corner at. They'll find holes within the defense and they'll pick you apart. That's why you have to put pressure. And then when pressure does come, what do the Saints do? They'll lose containment. So what is the purpose of generating pressure only for the pressure to flush the quarterback out straight up the center of the offensive line for a 15, 20, 25, 30-yard game? So it's a lot of stuff going on. The Saints did well in this game, but I want to see, what I'm interested in is, can we repeat what we did? Now, I know we ain't gonna get 5 damn turnovers because the Giants helped us with that. The Giants helped us. I mean, Jackson Dart literally dropped the ball to Cam Jordan. You know, he just literally dropped it, and Cam was Johnny on the spot. So I don't expect them to be the New England Patriots to be as foolish turnover-wise as the Giants were. But at the same time, like, is any of this stuff repeatable? Is it something that we can incorporate into a stable mindset going forward? That's why I'm really interested to see if I can get Chase Young involved so that he could produce opposite of Carl Granderson. That's the most athletic end that we have on the team, not named Carl Granderson. So getting him involved will be big. That's what I'm talking about. We'll see. All right, so big ups to you guys. Good to see y'all in the stream. What's up, Rudy? What's up, Jack? Shout out to my dog, Big Low, representing the Falcon Nation. What's up, Low? How you doing, my boy? Trey Joseph, what's up, bro? He says my real house will be in the backwoods of Oklahoma, Texas. Something the people would never know where I live. They'll find out, bro. I don't know if there's any such thing as that it, you know, is peace and seclusion anymore with the all this devices and all this kind of stuff. You know, it's the tech itself. You know, a lot of the tech itself is spy gadgetry. You know, the phones, the little stuff. What's the stuff y'all talk to in the house and say, "Hey, turn it on this channel. Hey, Alexa, play Funky Cold Medina," and then boom and noon, and you see what I'm saying? In order for it to do that, that damn thing listening to your ass all the time, and it tells you that in the packaging. It's for it to say, "Okay, turning it on. Hey, Alexa," whatever you want to call it. Hey, what today's weather report is? Well, today's weather report is such and such. The damn shit playing all the time, listening. So, I mean, you know, like I said, man, that's the biggest, one of the biggest industries is data, is what you call it. What is it? Data gathering? Oh, yeah, man, that's big in this game. So I don't know, Trey. I don't know. Maybe you got a bubble somewhere, bro. You know, you'd be able to find it. You'd be good. All right. What's up? What's up, Randolph? Shout out to my boy, Randolph, man. Mad Drummer says, Q, did you see what CBS put out there about Rattler being the number 31st best QB behind Cooper, Rush? No, not really, bro. I didn't pay attention to CBS. CBS is talking mess. I didn't even mean to rhyme with that one, but it rhymes and fits. Because respectfully, man, you can look at Spencer Rattler's numbers and see that his numbers are better than Michael Penix's numbers. They're better. And I know I'm just saying this, but we talk about NFC South's quarterbacks. He's doing better than Penix and Bryce Young. His numbers he has solid numbers. Now, like I said, he's not the only source of why the Saints aren't where they're supposed to be. I put a lot of that on the man on the screen talking. I put a lot of that on his offensive coordinator. Where's Nussmeier in this matter? I know Kellen calls the plays, but Nussmeier and his funny voice need to be called to the front, and he needs to be asked questions of what's up with this draw? We can't this weak ass draw play we always running, bro. I mean, can we run a fullback every now and again? You know, I mean, you know, can we do a little something different here? You know, can we, I mean, come on, brother, switch it up, do something. Lord. All right. Hemisphere said that's a trick question, Q. They can't do either very well. Why keep talking about Rattler like they do, but what they're not talking about is the elephant around him. Yeah, it's a lot of stuff. It's not exclusively just a Rattler thing, right? Because he knows that comes with the job. The most visible job on a football team on the field is a quarterback. the quarterback, if the team struggles, a lot of times they're going to put the blame on the QB. Rattler knows that. If the offensive line struggles, doesn't open up lanes, the block doesn't clear people out, and the play is funky and it's not developed, even though that's not all Spencer's fault, he's going to bear that blame. He knows that. So he's not going to start pointing and say, you see, well, Cesar Ruiz over there, he blew that block, or Jawan Johnson, who was supposed to block that blitzing linebacker, looked at him and then went out like he was catching the pass when the only thing he was doing was blocking. The guy got in there and got Alvin or Kendra on a 2-yard loss, like the film shows. So he's not going to say that. Spencer's going to say, yeah, it's on me. I got to do better, because that's what a leader does. He takes the bows and the arrows for his teammates. That's what he's supposed to do, right? So he did that. And he continues to do that. You know, that's pretty respectable. But at the same time, if you look at the film, you can see a lot of stuff is going funny for the Saints. They're just not particularly consistent with anything. They're not. They're blocked. When they run these plays, it's always one guy that don't know what he's doing. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's always one guy that misses a block, or one guy. It's always something that goes out that doesn't work on the play. It's like somebody don't know what they're doing. You know, you got to have your head in the game. All right, Gregory says, I'm hoping that Staley uses Alante all over the field in the star position. Yes, Alante is a great blitzing defensive back that should help our pressure rate. Yeah, we need to definitely look into some of this, because Alante Taylor is definitely a guy that you can use in that capacity. He loves to tackle. He'll come up and make a play. And I haven't seen Alante do this thing in a while. Like when he does that with his 2 thumbs down, I haven't seen him do that in a while. So that'd be good to see. All right, Charles says Young hurt his calf because he was running out in coverage. Okay, is that true? Jack says Cam needs to get a German Shepherd. I think Cam's all right, man. Cam, they'll beef up the security over there. KT says Q, I should have bet you a fruit punch big shot that Chase Young won't get double-digit sacks. I mean, bro, we are what? We still got a lot of football left. I would not bet you that big shot right now. KT, because more than likely he's not going to get double-digit sacks. He would have to have 2 real fire games to do that. I mean, like 2-3 sack games. Like one of them would be like 3 sack games or something like that. He would have to literally go off. Not saying it's not possible for him to get double-digit sacks. He just have to have like 2 or 3 games where he gets like 2 or 3 sacks, and then one here, one. You see what I'm saying? And then down and around. But it'll be. The goal is not for him to get double-digit sacks. It's to get more than 5.5 sacks, because that's been his norm, right? So if he gets 7 or 8 sacks, that still beats you, because you're trying to put double digits. He never did that. The most he's ever had was half of that. So for him to kind of take away your steam is for him to get like 7 or 8 sacks. And he could actually try. He could actually do that. He just need a few games of him going off. And listen, when Chase Young is healthy, man, Chase Young is a beast, man. Chase Young is a beast. He ain't no buster, but at the same time, the part of the game is him being healthy enough to contribute. Yeah. L-Dub says, yeah, you're not lying about technology and AI. Yeah. Oh, yeah, bro. You know, they were using that before they called it that. Then all of a sudden it's everywhere. Just like that. How did that work? It's just incrementalism. Jack says Rattler stats are middle of the road, so CBS is tripping. Yeah, indeed, bro. I don't pay it no mind, man. The whole narrative is to run the Saints into the ground. And maybe some of the psychological babble that they've been spitting at us for this whole offseason is kind of affecting the team to a degree. Because I'm looking at the Saints and I'm saying, man, we got all these veterans. These guys are healthy. But if you look at the tape, it's a lot of sloppy football. And I mean, not just schematically. I'm talking fundamentally. I'm talking about guys doing stuff that they've been doing their entire lives, like tackling, catching, blocking, this sort of thing. They're not doing particularly any of that well consistently. In order for you to be a good team, you have to have some of that as a stable. They have to have that as a stable. Like, we're an excellent tackling football team. We'll hold you up, strip the ball out, that sort of thing. You won't run on us. We'll commit every resource to stopping the run, this sort of thing. And we're not seeing that. We're seeing veterans look confused. We're seeing veterans missing tackles. I remember telling y'all it was a play against who was it? The Bills? Was it the Bills? Where Demario Davis missed what was it? Was it the Demario? He missed like 3 tackles in a row on one series. Not in a row, but he missed 3 tackles during that drive on one series. Like, how you miss 3 tackles, bro? What's going on here? Then that lessens you being an impact from a veteran standpoint on younger players. How could you tell guys, hey, man, you got to make your tackle? You better make that damn tackle next time. You understand what I'm saying? If you missing tackles, you can't do that. A young player look back at you and say, hey, bro, you need to follow your own advice. You can't lead if you got to be out ahead to lead. If you standing where it is, you walking with them. You got to be out ahead to lead, man. And right now, a lot of them veterans aren't walking ahead. They're walking with the guys back there. They're not stepping out doing it. And you seeing many plays during like last week, the young players said, enough of this. Let's make our presence felt. And they did that. So, yeah, I don't respect what they're saying. KT says, Q, Ronnie Bell's a low-budget slot receiver. The only reason he looked decent at Michigan is because Harbaugh ran the ball 90% of the time. All right, thank you, man. All right, shout out to my dog Randolph. Says Rattler has completed 70% of his pass since week 2. Just a fact. Yeah, I know that's true. Randolph, don't even put no real energy to what they're saying. But that's been and I've exposed that. That's been a disagreeable talking point that the national media has placed on the Saints. They've ran them down the whole offseason, said that the quarterback position was bad. And then it would be beyond my imagination for them to say, okay, you know what, we were wrong about that. No, they just continue to run it. They double down with the bull. So we just take them, we just know who they are. Right? So it is simply what it is. All right, let me move down a little further here. All right, Slim says, stop having our pass rushers in coverage, especially yes. We mixing it up. So hopefully we can find a way. KT says Q Nussmeyer's calling plays just as bad as oh man, come on. Can't talk about my LSU squad. Come on, KT. You done crossed the line, brother. KT taking shots. All right, Jack said Juwan Johnson thinks a chip block is a snack on the sidelines. Yeah, chip block. Yeah, let me get one of them chip blocks. Yeah, chip your way out there, Juwan. Yeah, things got to change, man. They got to get better. All right, 12 games left. Can he get a sack a game? He can't get a sack a game. Come on, KT. That's just not – he can't get a sack a game, bro. The man's not going to get – nobody would take that bet. Chase Young is not going to get 10 double-digit sacks this year this late in the game. I would say that he has the potential to beat what he did. I mean, what's the most he's gotten in a single season? What, 5.5, 5 sacks, something like that? Now, I say he can get that. He might be even get 7 or 8 sacks, but no way in the world I'm pushing the 10. Ain't doing that. What's up, Hakeem? Shout out to you, brother. Duke says passing game, a lot of improvement, more or less of east and west passing game, more north to south passing game with the type of receivers. I just said it, bro. I agree wholeheartedly. Absolutely. I agree wholeheartedly. Jack says Rattler has grown a lot since last year. He seems very more decisive in his offense. The vets are letting him down with penalties, missed blocks, drops, etc. I've said that before too, bro. The vets are really letting us down. They thought it would be the young people. A lot of the veterans are missing tackles. The veterans are dropping passes. The veterans aren't blocking well. The veterans aren't leading with the C on their chests. They're not doing what they're supposed to do. And the young people are stepping up now on the team and making plays. The veterans aren't. I've said that for the first several weeks. The veterans aren't doing what the hell they're supposed to do. I was just keeping it all the way funky. You're right. Saints Full Circle Podcast says, Q, I think we see Danny Stutzman sighting Sunday. Okay. All right. Rosin says, Q, I'm curious if they get Stutzman in the game. People want to see Stutzman. What's up, Hakeem? He said, I like the approach Rattler has taken. 7 touchdowns, 1 interception tells you he values the football. Yes, this is true. But the haters won't see him be like Brett Favre throwing blindly and turning it over. He's very the part. Thank you, Hakeem. His game And I mentioned this to y'all. I also mentioned it. We talked about it. KT mentioned it too early on in previous broadcasts about Rattler. And Rattler has a conservative nature to him. Like he's very conscious and aware about where he places that ball. He tries not to and will not put the ball in danger. He's gotten better. One of the best things I've seen about Spencer Rattler's game is him pulling the ball down and using his legs more. Recognizing when he sees green, not to second guess it, but when green means go. He see the green in front of him, he gone. He using his wheels, and that is big because that makes the game so much easier on you when you have two ways to move the ball as opposed to one and you're the quarterback. I can throw it or I can run it. A lot of times they drop it into coverage. If they can't get to me, I get flushed out of the pocket. I can move around, shake a guy up, get about 5, maybe 6 or 7 yards on the scramble to help myself out. So when I go back in there on that second down, I got second and short because I was able to pick up half the yardage or a great deal of the yards. So I can see Spencer Rattler has done a real good job on that. Right? I agree upon that. All right, Gregory says, Q, it typically takes a while for players to adjust to a new defensive scheme. Going 4-3 to 3-4 can be challenging, but we should definitely see major improvements when Young gets back. Yeah, because he speeds the game up. See, that's the part of it. Like, it makes it, when you have speed on them edges, it speeds the game up. We can compress the quarterbacks and force them to speed up, when they don't want to. They end up putting that ball out there early before the route develops the way they want to. Or it makes them take it forces them into a decision they're not ready to make. And that's what I'm about, But we also have to contain. That's another part. Just putting Chase out there. Chase might be able to have pressure from the opposite side. But what about the containment issues that we've been having? We've been having real containment issues. We have to fix that. L-Dub says Ryan Claw gave Rattler some praise, those saying he's been looking good so far this season. It's just truth. The man's done a good job. The run game, according to Hakeem, says will help Rattler even more and helps him become more efficient, especially in the play action. Take pressure off of him. Okay, 7.5 is his high, KT. Well, I think he can get 8 of them. I ain't going above that though. I ain't going there. You think you get 10? No, sir. I do not think that. All right, shout out to y'all, man. All right. Anyway, y'all hit that poll up, man. I got that poll up. I want to know what y'all got to say about that poll, man. We got it up right now. And let's see. We got a bunch of people that have voted on it right now. And the question in the poll is, what do the Saints offense do well? You only have 2 options, pass and run. 57% of the family members say currently that it is running. We run better than we pass. Don't feel like it, though. It don't. And that's because, you know what, our running game is getting a boost because of Spencer Rattler. Spencer Rattler, when you got a quarterback that can add another 50 or 60 yards to your rushing attack, it helps elevate that, like we've seen, not comparing him to a Lamar Jackson or any of these other guys, but any quarterback that uses his legs consistently every game to get 30 or 40 yards because he don't see he don't like what he's seeing in terms of passing. He sees it as an option to take the run, does boost the Saints running attack. So, but yeah, we have several, it's not one thing that the Saints offense is alienating with, that is ailing with. It has several different issues that are all working at the same time. That they like, man, well, we got to fix this. It's several different things that are working. That's a problem right now, which is, I'm like, oh wow, they have a lot. And then it's compounded. See, people ain't won't hear this shit when I'm about to tell y'all at the end of the game. Everybody was happy about the win. They was trying to shut it down. They ain't want to hear nothing about the win. I was trying to tell them when they put Taysom Hill in there. I was like, fam, listen. It was confusion when they put Taysom Hill in there and Spencer ran off the field. And, and they put, I was like, that's too soon. And then Kellen Moore today was talking about that. Reporters was asking why, what's up with, you had a lot of Taysom Hill in this game. He just got back. Well, we were working on some stuff when you was working on some stuff. when you when you were working on some stuff. When he wasn't healthy enough to play, what you was doing it with schematically. Here, see, we want you to do. What are you talking about? I'm against using Taysom Hill as a quarterback. If Spencer Rattler's the guy, he's a young quarterback in there. He's still trying to get the feel for the offense. Do not throw Taysom Hill in there and pull Rattler out of the game. Only use Taysom in harmony with Rattler, meaning using him as a tight end, use him as a wide receiver, use him as a fullback, use him as a running back. And if you want to throw the ball, on a play, well, have Spencer to throw it to Taysom, and he runs right or left, and it pretends like he's about to run, and he pulls up and throws the ball down the field. I'm for that, but I'm not for pulling him in and out of the game. Spencer's still trying to learn the offense. All that's going to do is create confusion. Based on what I'm looking, they're not complicated enough to be doing all that stuff, family. That's what I was saying on Patreon. The film shows they're not sophisticated enough to do that, to pull Spencer out and put Taysom in there. They're not. He's still learning that offense. All of these guys are still learning the offense. They don't have a good grip on it. They still on. That's why it still looks like what it is. What are we averaging the game here? And we're going to do the preview, come up here. I think it'll be tomorrow. We'll do the preview, the breakdown of it. Let me see bring up the statistics on what we averaging here, man. But we're struggling here. Let me see here. We're not sophisticated enough to do that. We're not. And it hurts me to say that, but it's the damn truth, man. Truth is truth. Let me see if I can pull this up here. But yeah, what are we averaging through 5 games now? What's our average here? Hold on, let me pull it up. Hold on here, fam. I'm trying to pull it up for everybody and see what our averages is. All right, hold on here. I don't see it on there. Y'all help me in the chat. Just put it in there, man. I'm looking for it. I don't want to waste no time. What we averaging? The 24 point. Charles says 20. Is it that much? I don't think it's that much. No, yeah. We're averaging 18.4. Is that right? Yeah, that is right. Saints averaging 18.4 points a game. It's 18.4. Did y'all know that? Saints averaging 18.4 a game offensively and giving up 27 points a game. That's what we doing. I wish it was 24.4, Charles. Yeah, that's not the case. The Saints are not. They're. Let me see if I can show y'all here. Yeah, the Saints are averaging 18.4. And they're like, damn, that's low. Well, that's it shows you what you need to know is that we're not getting down the field. See, here it is right here. Let me show y'all. Here it is right here. See it right here? Right there. Y'all see that? 18.4. That's 27th in the NFL. And we're giving up, 27 a game. That's 24th in the NFL. Well, if you average an 18.4 and you're giving up 27, you're going to definitely be 1-4. If you're giving up more than you're making, you are officially in debt and you're headed toward bankruptcy. You're headed toward being homeless. That's what I'm saying. If you got numbers, we got to flip this shit. Fam, if we flip them numbers right, we got to flip this, man. We got to flip this. Them are not good numbers at all. This is what the Saints have created through 5 weeks of football. That's pretty solid numbers right there for 5 weeks, right? You got your passing attack, passing yards, 190.4. That's 25th in the NFL. You are rushing the ball better. So the family members that say, we run the ball better. We're middle of the pack according to the stats. 117 yards a game. That's tied for 14th. 25th in passing offense, 190.4. And we only average just over 18 points a game, which is 27th in the NFL. We're giving up 27 points a game. That's horrible. That's terrible. But at some point, like I said, there's still a lot of time. We got to be able to turn all this on its head, man. We really do. That's not going to cut it. Averaging 18 points a game in the NFL only works when your defense only allows you to allow its opponents to average 10 points a game. I'll take that 18 every day. I take 17 every day. If our defense was only allowing people to have 10 points a game, then I love that 18.4. I do not like 18.4. We give up 27 points a game. Hell no. We got to flip it. Son of God, thank you, man. He says, what's your thoughts on Kelvin Banks Jr. first? I thought Kelvin did good, man. That, those are two really good, solid young players going, because Carter's going to be really good. That's what I was saying about the Giants team. Even though they fumbled and stumbled and bumbled, that Giant team has some key personnel. Now, that DeBall guy is probably not going to be there, but that team has some really good players on it. Malik Neighbors get back with Jackson Dart, and they have Scatterbo at running back. They had some pieces on the offensive line. Defensively with Abdul Carter, they have some other guys on offense. Brian Burns is there. Defense, excuse me. And, there's a few things here or there, but they have really good pieces for the future. They just need a leader to get in there and do that. But thank you, bro. For being
Say thank you very much. Picking me up, bringing me back to this world.
Yeah, those statistics, man, are ghastly. We got to fix that. Thank you for being a member, bro. All right, let's see right here. And I'm get a few more comments from the family members before we get ready to cut out. Y'all got any questions? Throw them in the chat. Gonna be cutting out here in about another 10 minutes or so. All right, let's see. Mad Drummer says first round will lead the second. Oh no, that's KT. Sands will lead the second, or Delaney, yeah, the big safety. Yeah, he says Dennis Sutton and Saka, and Justin Ross Simmons, Chris Brazel, or Nick Anderson. It's a lot of great players, KT. I'm still in my scout. I was watching some of the people you sent me, bro. Hakeem says Kendre Miller is taking carries away from AK-41. I like that because now AK-41 could be fresher. With 10 less touches per game, Miller is definitely showing he can be a building block going forward. How about that, Hakeem? And just last year, a lot of people had questions about what Kendre Miller's role was. They were saying get rid of Kendre Miller. Dennis Allen was putting Kendre Miller on the injury list, and he wasn't even hurt. He was talking shit about him and all this kind of stuff. And look what Kendre Miller doing. Look what he did. Cartel says, say Q, what are your thoughts on Spencer not really taking shots? Do you think he's being a bit too conservative, or do you think he's right where he needs to be? I think he needs to take more shots. I think, like, if you look at the tape, it's the decision making. Like, he has to get better in his and it's a question, because the question is how much control does Spencer have over the offense? I'm pretty sure he can set the audible, right? He can call his protections. Right. And he reads the defense, and you're looking at the defense. And of course, he points and waves his guys to motion. But when you're looking at that defense and you're sending the motion, you're seeing who's moving, and you got to pay attention to all that. That's why it's a tough job that people pay a lot of money for, because not everybody could do it. So you have to be able to have the gift of processing information extremely fast. You have to basically know what mostly everybody on the field is doing. You have to be able to read and watch the defense while you're saying what you're saying, right? And you paying attention, and then you watch the safeties creeping up. Or if you have one of those Saints Supremes or them Saints churches plays where you doing that draw, that super dry biscuit ass draw that we usually run, and you see the safeties creeping up, or a safety creeping up. At first it was double. They were too high. And then you see one of them come up to the line of scrimmage and tipping in, and he's showing like he's going to blitz. Then I'm a audible out of that draw. I'm an audible out to a deep throw, And a lot of times we have to not wait for the mismatches, but create them. We have a lot of players. See, that's the big point about having stars and breakout players. Notice that our stars and our breakout players aren't having the opportunities to make breakout and star plays. Why is that? Because they're not being put in positions to help the team. They're not. Rashid Shaheed needs to be moved around to create mismatches. Alvin Kamara never needs to leave the field. If he's not a running back, let's make him a wide receiver. Right? And we can still have Kendre Miller out there and hand the ball off to him. or Devin Neal or whoever you want back there. But it's just the fact of making defenses think and say, oh, Alvin Kamara's over there. And they got Kendrick Miller in the backfield. They paying attention to Alvin Kamara over there. We can hit them with something. It's all about making these people think and not be as confident as they are about what they're going to do. And you don't see that. You don't see that happening on film. Very rarely, like you see a shot downfield here or there. But we have to do more. You have to attack these teams. You have to be able to create doubt in the minds of your adversaries. You can't allow them to be comfortable in their own skins. You got to constantly be looking at taking advantage. It's a damn chess match. You know, so you watching their safeties and players move and they're trying to overload one side of the line. You got to understand, you got to adjust to that and adapt to that, and slide protections are audible to the weak side. If they're piling up on one side to overload it, we got to do something about it. Let's go to this other side right here, because they overloading one side of the field, which means you can take advantage on the opposite side. It's a chess game, and we're not treating it as such. When I'm looking at it on film, to be honest with you, if you're asking me, we're not treating it as such. If you go watch the film, like especially the film from this last game, offensively speaking, we got the touchdown with Rashid Shaheed, but it boggles my mind and really pissed me off when I was seeing the Saints doing that draw into 8-man box, and I'm like, and they have single high safeties and all this kind of stuff, and these people, it's come on, bro. You can't help them beat you. You have to be. It's a thinking person's game, and it's a chess match, and we're not treating it as such. We're just going through the motions. No. And I put that on the coach's fault. I put that on the offensive coordinator and the head coach fault. That's what I really do, because that's what we need to be stressing here. Stop running that old dry ass draw play that we running, and they got 7 guys there, and and you see your offensive line struggling to block. Listen, the Saints there's 4 guys rushing. I've seen on the last film, and this happened throughout the weeks, the Saints have difficulty blocking 4 guys. Did you hear what I just said? It's 5 offensive linemen, and they have difficulty blocking 4 guys. That's not supposed to be. The numbers or the math is on your side. The math is on your side. If it's 5, if they have 4 linemen on the line, you got 5, you're supposed to be able to do something with that. Even if they send an extra guy, you still supposed to be able to do something with that. That just means the math is equal when it's 5-5. I've seen footage for the Saints offensive line over the last 4 to 5 weeks where the Saints have issues blocking 4 defensive linemen, and there are 5 effing linemen there. How does that work? So in the end, like I said, man, it's a bunch of stuff that's going wrong with the Saints, while they are averaging 18.4 points a game offensively and are 27th in the NFL. We got to look at that offensive coordinator. Dude, we are going 6 weeks in. You need to create and run some new wrinkles here. Seriously. By now, you should at least have an idea of what kind of personnel you have and how to take advantage of the personnel. Alvin Kamara is a game changer. Chris Olave is a game changer. He's not a possession guy. He's a speed guy. You need to put him out there. Rashid Shaheed is probably the fastest man in the NFL, or one of the fastest guys in the NFL. How you can't get him loose? But one time in how many games? And then the thought process is, when the defense is tipping up to the line, you go over top their goddamn head. And if you're not successful, that's all right. They'll give you opportunities to do it, but you cannot be conservative in your skin to the point where you don't force the ball downfield. At some point, you're going to have to go upfield. Because if you don't train, you got to train that defense. You got to train the defense. If you're not throwing the ball down the field, why they need to play back on a team that's not throwing the ball down the field? The defensive coordinator say these guys ain't throwing the ball on the field. Hell, let me just play up here. And they'll gamble. Yes, they will. They gambled in the Giants game. It's just what it is, man. It's a lot of stuff going. It's not one individual thing based on my research that I've seen about the Saints. But indeed, we talking about going down the field. Enough talk. Do it. You got all these people and they fast. It's 4-3 guys, this guy, 4-3, this guy, 4-3, this other guy, 4-3. You got this diminutive Brandon Cooks out here. He's supposed to be fast. Get that damn ball up the field. I don't care if you miss. Keep, push the ball up the field to show them real sports here. We got to move the ball. We can't be averaging 18.4 points a game and giving 27 up. We can't do it. We 27. We got to flip that, man. You got to get upfield. And Nussmeier got to get up off his ass and he got to fix it. That's on him. Do not exclude the offensive coordinator from why the Saints offense is not gelling. There's a coordinator that's supposed to be coordinating the offense, and his name is Nussmeier. Don't always put it on Rattler. They got a guy there who's responsible for the offense. You need to start calling him out. Yeah, I don't hear nobody calling out Nussmeier. He the safest man in the building. How the hell this guy here in charge of the offense, and they putting it on everybody but him? There's a coordinator we have here that needs to be taken to the woodshed about this stuff, man. And I'm just saying, we talk about Staley. What's up with Staley defense? You hear me on the broadcast like, why is he doing this, that, there? But we don't have enough for Nussmeier. Hell, you can do it for Phil Galliano with the special teams, but not one word about what Nussmeier doing. Nussmeier run that offense now. Kellen calls the plays, but Nussmeier is the offensive coordinator. He needs to be out there. He needs to be talked about. And why are you running this dry ass draw all the time? What's your and all this kind of old stuff? We need new wrinkles here. It's 6 weeks in. I mean, come on, man. This shit's it's just infuriating. You see how infuriating I get with it? The right says Q in that red zone is play calling personnel are high. Or he says, is it play calling in the red zone? Bro, I'm looking at Nussmeier, and it's a lot of people to shame, but he runs the offense. Kellen Moore calls the plays. Nussmeier's in control of the offense. What he's running is not working. It's too much east to west and not enough north-south stuff. How many times you seen Chris Olave on these plays where he's like 8 to 9 yards in field, all this sliding down, making catches? Why? I thought we were supposed to be a vertical attack. What vertical attack? East-west this much. Go east-west like this. This ain't no vertical attack. They're not attacking anything. And the defense if you're an ops defense, don't need to play back on people that's east-west and like this. They can single high you all day. They ain't afraid of you taking no shot. And even if you bust their ass with Rashid Shaheed one time, they're like, okay, that's just one. That was out of character. That was a fluke. And that's how it is. I mean, how many times you busting their ass with your deep threat wide receiver? You're not doing it often enough to scare them. So they'll give up a touchdown because they saying, well, that ain't what they do. That's not their identity anyway. This is the East-West team. We're not getting vertical. That's all in mindset concepts that the offensive coordinator is running. He's the one scripting these plays, these East-West plays and all this stuff. And we ain't have no verticalness. No, we're not even doing any of that. That's the truth. That's the damn truth. Rose says, who that Q and family Chase Young at practice? Yeah, I'm happy about that. KT can't talk his stuff right now, man. Well, KT gonna always talk his stuff. But that's what I am on, man. All right. Full Circle Saints podcast says, Saints Full Circle podcast says, Q, did you see DeMario mic'd up? No, I didn't, bro. What was he saying, bro? Put it in the chat. All right. Tanya says, Nunez Roches is my little nephew, and I was hoping he came to us, but he went to Tampa and won a Super Bowl. That guy's good, man. He was giving the Saints problems in the dome. Shout out to you. J-Rock says, Q, how about Kellen Moore start calling screenplays and wheel routes for AK? Those plays are what made him a fear back in the league. Can the Saints run those type of plays? Can the Saints run the decent? I've seen them run tight end screens with Juwan Johnson. I like Juwan. I don't think he's athletic enough to operate no tight end screen. I would prefer to have a Taysom Hill do that because Taysom has a lot more athleticism and elusiveness than running a tight end screen with Juwan Johnson. I like Juwan in certain areas. I don't too much like him on a tight end screen most of the times. I like to have somebody with some athletic ability. But how are the Saints on the screens? I haven't through these games, not a lot of screen plays, and that they did some that they did well. Because the line has to move, they have to get to a point. A lot of communication has to happen. I still see communication issues with the Saints offensive line going into week 6. So it's like, if you're not communicating well We're not taking advantage of the ops when they give you stuff. Like if they show you a look and you don't take the look and you run into something that benefits them, like running into a stack box, then you're the dumbass. You're the dumbass for doing stupid plays. But yeah, I don't know. Are we competent enough to operate screens and all that consistently? I know we got guys like Tolly and Kelvin Banks Jr. and we got Torrey Selly getting better, Trevor Penning and all this kind of stuff. We still, it's just a lot going on, man. I don't know if they're confident to run these screens, man. Shit, the Saints have problems blocking guys in a traditional stance. Y'all notice that? It's just, yeah, it's like, man, wow. I didn't think he had those keys, Q. Mad Drum says, Q, I ain't gonna lie, I would love to see what Devin Neal has to do. Yeah. KT says, Q, do you think Rattler has the calendar circle for the game against Williams and the Bears, given their history? I think that would be wonderful. I think that will be the storyline game right there. We just need to get Rattler there. We still got, well, how many games before we get to that point in the schedule, before the Saints get there again? Oh, 2 weeks. Oh, yeah. Yeah, but the crazy part about it is the Saints could be going into that game on a 2-game winning streak. If we get some of this stuff straight, man. We just have to get smarter, man, and communicate more on the field, not off the field. Like, I want you to, no. I'm talking about on-field communication. I ain't talking about the stuff on when you sitting on the sideline and they telling you, man, you could do this, that, and the third. I'm talking about when you on the actual field, that's communication that's supposed to be taking place. If guys don't know what they do, tell the guy next to you, hey, man, I don't know what I'm doing, man. What I'm supposed to do, well, you supposed to block that guy right there. And all they have to do is shift, and we've seen that before when the defensive line shift and cause all kind of confusion. They don't know who they blocking. When they shift, that challenges the offensive line communication ability to know who I got now. The line just moved, so who I got now. You're supposed to know all of that. You're supposed to be prepared for that. You don't just be sitting up there thinking, oh, I got it, and don't want to answer nothing, man. That's the problem. That's why we are 1-4. And where my stats at again? I got this up here because that blew my mind right there. I was not looking at that. But Who Dat Nation, this is what your offense is averaging right here. 18 points a game and 27th in the NFL. And this is what your defense giving up, 27 a game, 24th in the NFL. Do you want to get better and win? This has to be flipped. You got to flip this, man. But in order to get this up higher than what it is, we should be at 20, at least 21, between 21, 24 points a game. When that happens, you'll see this number drop. You'll see this number drop because a lot of times this number is because you got a lot of 3 and outs going on, and that puts pressure on the defense out there longer than what they're supposed to be. So when that number goes up to like 21, 24 points a game, this going to come down. I promise you that. Well, like I said, man, it is what it is. What's up, Anthony? Shout out to you, bro. I'm just telling it how it is, man. Son of God, man, thank you for the super chat, man. He said, name me 3 positive things this team is doing. The 3 positive things the Saints is doing, bro. Well, number 1, the young people are getting an opportunity to play. That's number 1. That's a very positive thing. That's big because at first the young people were seen as a minus. That's why the naysayers were saying that the Saints were struggling because they're going to struggle because of all the young personnel. It turns out that the veterans are the reason why the Saints are struggling. Veterans not doing anything. The young people are actually stepping up. So that's a positive one. And that could be also said about the fact that the young people in particular, and there's a number of them you can call. We got Kool-Aid McKinstry. We got all these other guys you can make mention of. They're doing a really good job. The other 2 items to make mention of, I guess, is to tie into our young personnel. And going down the streak, I think that's the 1, 2, and the 3 is the youth of the team, to be honest with you. And that would be how we turn this around. We could turn this around. Number 2 is the injury situation. The Saints are not as injured as a lot of teams in the NFL. Look at the Baltimore Ravens. Lamar Jackson, all these other guys, they are banged up. They got like a lot of guys out. So that's a positive. The injuries that we thought coming into the season would be an impact. Going into week number 6, the injuries are down, despite Alvin having this little ankle injury. I think the most savage thing that we're dealing with right now is with the whole Chase Young thing, him being out for like 6 weeks and all this kind of stuff. But Cesar Ruiz is out. He's not on the IR. They think he'll come back, but he wasn't really playing that well anyway. Torrey Simpkins is playing better than him. So that's a plus. Back to the young people. You see what I'm saying? And then, of course, the left guard position has been kind of a position that has been in flux. You had Dylan Reduce there, then you had Trevor Penning there, then you had whoever else you had there. So you're starting to see a little bit better there from the left guard position, some stability coming there. You see what I'm saying? So, like I said, those are two things, and then the third thing, I guess I could find three things, but it'll go back to the young people. Like I talk about the young people that are doing, Kelvin Banks Jr., Tali Fuaga, those guys, the young people, Quincy Riley, Danny Stutzman when he gets an opportunity to play, some of the young guys, undrafted guys like Stahlberg doing good things on special team, almost blocked a punt last week. So there are a few of the young players are really the ones that I'm really have been impressed with. The veterans need to step up. So that's what I got. Thank you, brother.
I want to say thank you very much. Picking me up, bringing me back to this world.
Shout out to the fam, man. We got about on the poll. What do the Saints offense do well? 57% now. It's changing as I'm saying it. 57% now says run versus the pass. From a number standpoint, you can see right here, it's backing the family members up. It's saying 160, almost 117 a game, which is 14th in the NFL. Thank you, son of God. Appreciate that, man. All right, Who Dat says if the Saints build around Spencer, we will be where we need to be. Indeed, I think Spencer he is learning as he go. Remember, he's a young quarterback. He's in his second year, still getting used to the speed of the game. He has his poise is really good. I like Spencer's poise, but it's like with anything. There's no such thing as perfection. You just have to keep improving, which means you just get faster in your reads. That's the thing. Like, and I watched on tape why things are what they are. It's like sometimes you see him trying to look through his progressions, but the line break down and flushes him out of the pocket into a run or forces him to one side or the other. And sometimes you can see he's not comfortable back there because they're not holding up. So they get some. I've seen plays where they get pushed right into his lap. So it's he dealing with what he can do. But like I said, all he can really do is try to just get faster in his reads and be more decisive, to know where players are on the field, like to know where his wide receivers are, to get better in knowing where this is. That's basically what he can do. It's a tough job, man. That's why not too many people can do it. Charles says, why do we keep having cooks in the game? We run the ball, dude can't block a Cole. I know, bro. I often ask that question, but like I said, he's supposed to be in the vertical package. The speed package to get downfield. There's no package where Brandon Cook should be in there blocking nobody. I don't get that. Q, I'm enjoying the season. I know it sounds crazy, but it's been fun seeing the growth of Spencer, Kool-Aid, Grando, and Kendra. Indeed, Kendra Miller has been a bright spot. He's been what we thought he could be. He's been very positive. That's some of the positive stuff. The season is not over with, but by far there's a lot of football left to be played, but recognizing what we need to improve upon and move forward. The young players are a spotlight, which means your future's bright because the young players are learning very quickly. So your bridge to success is not as long as you thought it was because these young guys are picking the game up pretty fast. That's very positive, for the long road, so to speak, All right. So anyway, L-Dub says, and DeMario told Jameis every time he come to the Dome, he brings a win to the Saints. Yes, indeed. That's right. Mad Drummer says Holder, Sank, and a lot of these guys are doing great, man. So that's some of the pluses. So I don't want people to too much concentrate on it because we're kind of laying out, but this is how the coaches look at it. The coaches will tell you, hey, man, this, that, and the third, and they'll big ups this, but they're supposed to go back and look at the tape and pinpoint what guys did wrong. Like you were supposed to do this, you were supposed to do that. Next time, don't do this. Don't you overcommitting to this type of stuff, and then the players give feedback to in the film room of why are we doing this? We need to do this. I feel comfortable doing this. And that's what it's really about. A good coach puts his players in a position to be successful, and so you get feedback from the coaches and from the players. So it's not a one-way thing where the coach just telling his players, hey, man, you that third, you need to do all this better. No, it's a two-way street where guys going back and they communicating because the player, we want to get the most out of the player. What are you comfortable with running? What do you guys think we could do here to make this streamline, to make this better? That's how it goes. That's when you start seeing the success, and then they'll own the offense, and the offense would then you kind of morph into what we know they could be. You know, it's really rigid right now, and it's not really confident. You know what I'm saying? I don't get confidence out of that. You know, it's not a steady situation, but you know, that's what I am. All right, but anyway, fam, listen, Mad Drummer says Tyson Campbell just got traded to. Yeah, a lot of trades are going on right now, man. I seen a Joe Flacco trade. Joe got traded to the Bengals. Yeah, Joe Flacco traded to the Bengals. The Bengals traded Pick what's his face earlier this year. So Browns is like getting close to. They got Gabriel in there. So at points, I guess they opening the door for Shador, right? It's crazy. Boy, the Browns, man, they just living up to the name, the Browns, like the brown emoji, they got a brown helmet with nothing on the side of it. Just take the dookie emoji and stick it right on the side. That's That's what you do. Just get one of them emojis and slap and a sticker and put Gorilla Glue on the other end and just slap it right on the head of the owner. Take that off. I mean, you want to talk about a fumbling organization. Just be thankful that you're not the Browns. My goodness. Anyway, man, listen, I'm going to get ready to get on up out of here, man. Y'all do this service for me. Y'all hit the like button. If you're not subbed up to the Coma, sub up to the Coma, man. Also share the show's links on your social media feed. Hit that notification bell for future content. That's what we'll be back on Thursday, man. We'll be back on Thursday tomorrow to kind of talk at you about more Saints stuff. We'll have the Thursday injury report among all the latest other stuff that Kellen Moore's talk about. But that's what I got for y'all today, man. Based on what that's right, Jerry, the doo-doo Browns. How is it though? Why they gotta just change the name to the Bulldogs? You know, I would rather have that. Like they got a bulldog. Y'all know that? That's old school. They had a bulldog as a logo. It wasn't a logo, but they had the bulldog out at at the stadium, and he would go around there. It was a bulldog. I was like, why not just change it? I know Paul Brown created the team, but didn't Paul Brown buy the Bengals too? I'm like, how didn't he move on to the Browns? Like, I ain't keeping your damn name, man. You over there with the Bengals? Let me change this around. It's not the Browns no more. It's the Cleveland Bulldogs. Let's do that. Let's do that. Let's change we tired of being a color. We don't get no respect as getting. We just the color. We just the color here. We the Saints, the Giants, the Eagles, the Bears, the Cowboys, the Chargers. And then you kind of get on the other side of the spectrum a little bit. The Jets, that's fire. That got a little impact. The Jets. Even the Bills, we got to pay some bills. The Buffalo Bills, that kind of thing. There's a little strength to that. You got strength there. And then you get to the other side of the spectrum. You got the Dolphins, the Seahawks, the Browns. We got a color over here. Just change it to the Bulldogs, man. Just be the Bulldogs, man. Just be the Bulldogs, bro. Change it, man. That's what it's supposed to be an elf? No, bro. Is that an elf? Oh, that's hard. That's even worse. I remember they had a bulldog, man. I was like, just change it to the Cleveland Bulldogs and just be done with it. That's what I'm saying. You go to the Seahawks. What's a Seahawk? I often thought that. What's a Seahawk, man? I never heard of that before. It's supposed to be the Hawks. They try to be pretty with it because we next to the sea and we got Hawk. No. The Dolphins. How about what I'm saying? How about the Sharks? You know what I'm saying? Like the Miami Sharks. You know what I'm saying? That kind of stuff. Something that's going to strike fear. Nobody's scared of no dolphin. Unless he's 50 feet long and got sharp ass teeth to cut you in two. Ain't nobody scared of no dolphin. And damn sure ain't scared of no brown. They probably back off some brown because when you stepped in some brown, you like, oh, shit. You know what you done stepped into. Anyway, I'm going to stop messing with them folks, man. Let me go ahead and get on. He says Google Brown is the elf. They got a, oh my God, I'm done. I'm done with that. Yeah, they called it, his nickname, the Dog Pound. Yeah, the dog. It should be the Bulldogs. The Bulldogs fit perfectly. Well, I'm going to stop giving people ideas, man. Anyway, with that being said, I'm getting on up out of here, man. I appreciate y'all. Y'all hit that like button. I'm going to see y'all on Thursday. Much love, and Who Dat to you. Peace.
Yeah. Boogie like Benson, I'm a Who Dat. I'm a Who Dat. Long as I'm living, I'm a Who Dat. Lose or winning, I'm a Who Dat. Sports Coma, yeah, this is where we do that. Where we do that, 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 Boogie like Benson, I'm a Who Dat. I'm a Who Dat. Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Somebody please better help. Running this thing like Elf. I thank God every day I'm not a felt. Go to YouTube Live with Big Q and the guys. If you ain't ride or die, the bandwagon get flipped. Been marching in, that was way for the ring. I was yelling out your shame for the championship. Bucking on town, duck down. Falcons, pluck, get shut down. Panthers ain't much touchdown. The vision really belong to us now. So much hate on the Saints, you could probably tell. Ever since Bounty Gate hit the NFL, when things seem fishy and you probably smell the crooked referees on Roger Goodell. Yeah, probably like this and I'm a Who Dat. Every day I'm living, I'm a Who Dat. Lose or winning, I'm a Who Dat. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that, 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 Boogie like this and I'm a Who Dat. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
WhoDatDaily.com. That's right, the WhoDatDaily.com. Your one-stop shop for everything New Orleans Saints, New Orleans Pelicans, LSU Tigers, and even the top-flight boxing. So if you're a Who Dat and you're looking for a place to stay up on your team, WhoDatDaily.com is your site. The WhoDatDaily.com for the sport Who Dat in all of us. That's right, the Pro Shop is the platform store where you can go and buy all the latest merch to support the platform. Available at the Pro Shops, we have dozens of hundreds of products available for you and your family. Unisex tees for men and women, hoodies and sweatshirts, tank tops, kids and baby items, long sleeve tees, mugs, pillows, wall art, bath bedding, face masks, phone cases, stickers, bags, fanny packs, socks, hats, and many other items. Please feel free to check out the Pro Shops. The link is in the description section below. And remember, it helps